And we're live. And we're live. Love doing that every week. Welcome to RockSim Live. I am Tim Van Milligan. I am your host today. I am here to talk about RockSim, a RockSim Pro, and the Launch Visualizer. So thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it. I do have the chat going, so if you have questions about RockSim, now is your chance to put them in there, all your questions that you want. So far, only Chris's Rocketry and More has checked in, and he says hello, and he gives me a big heart symbol. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, and here's Carlos K. from cloudy Marietta, Georgia. He's checking in. So thanks everyone again. Where are we? I got so much going on today. So last week I said that we wouldn't be here on Black Friday, which is next Thursday, which is, what day is that? Today is the 8th, 17th and 7th is the 24th. But, 24th. But we will be having an episode, and it's going to be a special episode. This one is going to be done by Martin. Martin is going to step in, and he's going to talk about altimeters. So if you have questions about altimeters and want to know how they work and which one you might want to use for your next rocketry project, Martin he's our resident expert. So please have those questions ready. It's going to be phenomenal. So that's one thing that I wanted to talk to you about. And the other thing is we are getting close to Christmas, and every year we do a Christmas ornament, and we give it away for free when you place an order at Apogee. And so let me bring up a camera. Hopefully this is going to work. Oh, and it is working. Okay, so let me get these out of the way. So this is this year's ornament. It is a little representation of a rocket that we produced this year called the TTV, which stands for Timer Test Vehicle. And this one right here, I've gone ahead and painted, and I put a string on it so I can hang it on our Christmas tree. We do these every year, and they're a lot of fun to make, and they're like a little kit, so you have to put them together, and it takes like less than 5 minutes. And they look so cool, and then you can hang them on your tree. And why would you want to hang them on your tree? Because for a number of reasons. Let me show you my Christmas tree. Let me bring that up here because I took a picture of it and it turned out really blurry, so I apologize for that in advance. Let me show you my screen. So this is our Christmas tree. And you can see it's decorated with all these rocket ornaments that I have made over the years. And when I see these on the tree, it brings back so many memories. Like this is the one from last year, and this is the 2022. Let's see, yeah, you can see the 2022 down there. This was a rocket that we did as a plan, and the plan was called the Phantom, and it was for Halloween because it was shaped like a ghost. And so every time I see this, I know exactly when that happened and what was going on at that time. And then like all the other rockets that we worked on last year. And then who designed it was, Martin designed this one, who will be here next year. Actually, he designed the rocket itself, and then I designed the ornament. So this year I let Martin design the ornament, and this is what he came up with. That was the TTV. And it's a really nice ornament, and it just brings back so many memories. And then that was 2022, and this one here was 2021. This is the Zephyr representation. So it's like, oh. And it was actually the Zephyr Junior that we were working on in 2021. But the Zephyr was selling so well that we decided to make that smaller Zephyr Junior. And it's just like, okay, at that time we also did the Peregrine Junior and the Katana Junior. It just brings back so many memories. And then 2020. So what do you do for 2020? So let me show you this, and then you tell me exactly what was going on in 2020. This was our COVID rocket with the COVID virus right here in the middle. And yes, I remember exactly what was going on in 2020 because, the world was on lockdown. The government's locked us down, even though COVID really wasn't that bad. It was, the common flu was almost as bad. So anyway, so that, so when you see these and you see them on your tree, you remember exactly what you're doing. And so when I see these on my tree at work here, I know it just brings back a flood of memories. All these rocket ornaments here on the tree, and I do like I put together like 6 or 7 of each kind. So here's the TTV sitting right there. Here's that Zephyr, and over here is last year's 2022. Here's 2017. There's the COVID rocket right up here. And then there's some that I think this was 2016, or this was 2016, the one down here. But they're a lot of fun. And the other thing they remind people of is what you want for Christmas. So if you would like one of these ornaments, and the one that you get this year is the TTV. What you do is you just place an order on our website, and it doesn't matter how much it is, something small, something big. And then you just use the coupon code Holiday 2023. And when you use Holiday 2023, we'll automatically add the ornament to your order. So you can, have one in the order box, and then you open it up and build it and put it on your tree. We also sell them separately, and some of the previous years we still have stock available. And so I think we go back to the COVID rocket, I think is as far back as that we have stock for. So you can get the older ones as well. It's a cool Christmas gift. So, but we're not here to talk about Christmas for too long. We do want to talk about RockSim. And we got a lot of people that are now checking in. We have Troy Aramit saying hello. 462 Tool from North Dakota. Alfred Indy is checking in. He says, where is Wheelock? I think he is. Oh, Terry Wheelock. There's Terry. Terry's here as well. Carlos K says, the clouds are so low that an Alpha would punch a cloud on a B engine. But we have nice, bright, sunny skies today, so we're very happy about that. And we're going to have a launch tomorrow, and we got some new rocket kits that we're going to be testing and photographing, and yeah, we're always getting ready for the next one. 462 Tool says, is the Tim going to introduce us to Apogee's upcoming 8-inch wide, 98mm diameter motor mount rocket? I wish. We're not working on anything that big yet. Nice try, though. Mark Sell from Parker, Colorado is checking in. Hello, Mark. And we have Todd. He says, I love you, man. Not sure about the COVID flu comparison, but let's move on. Yeah, okay. I wasn't a big fan of the COVID flu. I didn't get it, so, well, I might have gotten it, never know. You know, you get feeling not so great, but hopefully that's well in the past. I know we had one person that tested positive last week for COVID flu on Friday, and he was back to work on Monday. So hopefully, and he was feeling pretty well. John Papp is here from Colorado Springs, and he says, I would like to know if there's any way that I can use RockSim to help me identify, and it's kind of cut off, identify a fin that I only have a picture of. Well, we have a rocket here on the screen, and I have only the image of the rocket, and it's got fins on it, and I can't identify this rocket. I'm sorry. So, unfortunately, no. But, John, I think AI is going to get there pretty quick. I know Google has a image search, and you can upload an image right into Google and ask it, you know, what is this of? And it may not get everything, but it may recognize the fin. So you might give that a try. That would be like my first choice if I was trying to identify a rocket based on just a fin. Okay. I did have one question that came in. Todd is saying, on a great note, my son just got his junior L1 NAR card after flying his Zephyr a couple months ago. A really great rocket. Yeah, it is a great rocket. Thank you. And yeah, that's awesome for your son. That's quite an accomplishment. Level 1. Cool. Terry says that this is an AMRAAM. I don't know if it's an AMRAAM. This was sent to me. This is a rocket design. This is our first question. Let me bring up the actual question so I can tell it. And this is from Michael Davis, and he says, I recently built a RockSim file for the Rocketarium AS11 kit. So this must be the AS11. And I can see that up here at the top. Let me make my cursor a little bit bigger so that you guys can see it and see where I'm pointing to. Come on, let's see, accessibility. Pointer control. And I don't want that. What do I want? Display. There we go. Net contrast. I want this one, pointer size. There we go. Look at that. Look how big it is. It's about the size of a big old fly now. Okay. And I'm having an issue with the rear fin to the boat tail clearance and getting the raised channel in the 3D printed boat tail to render correctly. The fin issue is the rear fins overhang the boat tail by approximately 0.75 inches, and there's supposed to be a gap between the fin and the boat tail, but RockSim renders the fin so it tapers to contact the boat tail. So let me zoom in here a little bit so you can see what he's talking about. See right here where here's the edge of the fin and it wraps around the boat tail. You wouldn't believe how long it took to get it RockSim to operate that way. That's a feature, not a bug. But now it's a bug because that's what he has the issue with. The issue is with the boat tail channels is they are only 1.125 thick and follow the taper of the boat tail, but RockSim is adjusting the thickness. Okay, so then on this one right here, this one should, this upper edge should follow the taper of the boat tail. So there, the thickness at the front of the boat tail, but it thickens as it moves back to the top parallel to the body tube. I've attached the file and I hope to explain this issue clearly. I don't think the issue will affect the sim results, but I ran into the issue with a couple of other files and I wanted to see if there's a workaround. Okay, so let's attack the first one first. Let's see if we can click on a fin here. We got that fin set. We got the spinny ball, and it opened up a fin. So this is the lower fins. Let's see, can I make this any bigger? Okay, so these are custom fins. And so if we look at the plan points, so here's the plan points. And that's what the fin looks like. And he wants the edge to not go down there. Like I said, it took us a long time to get it to follow that tapered edge. And now you don't want it there. Oh, is there a way around this? I'm trying to make this, there we go. Let's see what I can see. Let's see if I can put a point right there. Ooh, looks, I can put a point right there. Undo. Okay, so if you make a mistake and you want to undo it, just hit the undo last button. Undo last. Okay, so I want to put a point there, but RockSim only allows 2 points along the base. So let's see if we can trick this. Let me put a point there. Come on, there it is. See, I got a point there, and then I want to make this one, and I want to move it here. That moves it a ½ inch. He says about a 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to move it there. Okay, so that's closer. Look at that. He wants it to hang off the edge. I got this. This thing is in the way. Trying to rotate this around so we can all see it together. So you see what I did is I put this point here, and that's right there. And he says it overhangs the boat tail by approximately 0.75 inches. Now, I don't know how long that boat tail is, but right now I'm hanging out so here's a ½ inch between 2.5 and 3. So that's why I put that point there. Let me move it back here and see what happens. Let me see where this fin is referenced from. So it's from the base of the owning part. So let's make that point. Let's make it from the front of the owning part so that I lock that front part of the fin in place. Normally I do all fins from the base, but this one we're going to do from the front. And let's go back to the plan points, and let's go to 2D here. These are at a 45-degree angle, which is why I'm only seeing the fin it's not here along this edge here. Because if we look at this, this little bug right there is a bug that we discovered here on the Mac in the latest OS. And let's see, I'm running the latest OS. This is Sonoma 14.0. And what happens is you can get the windows overlapping each other, but the way to fix it is just to adjust the size of the window. So that's a workaround until we get that fixed. We just discovered it, so. Okay, so now, I'm just gonna, see, I want this point right here, which is, see what happened? That's that Macintosh bug. Don't upgrade to the latest version of OS because it always does crazy things. So I'm going to take this point here and move it. See, it's getting closer to that front edge. I don't want to go down there or I'm going to get my screen to do funny things again. So I'm moving it until I get that point here. Okay, so now I think I got it right at the edge of the tube. And so even though this is greater than 0.75, I think you're going to get the point. So I'm going to try to move this one, extend it down, and it can't touch the line, but I can get as close to the point as possible. And I can actually come up here to the Y and just type in a number. As long as it's not 0, as long as it's greater than 0, I'm okay. So actually, so this is the point right there that touches the tube. And so now we've extended it further. And let's see if it looks like in 3D. So there is my solution of extending it so it doesn't conform to the tube. As soon as I, take this point here, which is a 0 point, which is this one right here, it's at 1.69 inches from the tip back to there, and it's 0 degrees off of the tube, or 0 inches off of the tube. And if I move that further back, it's going to start wrapping onto the tube. It should wrap on the tube. Now it's not wrapping on the tube. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now the other one, okay, I'm going to cancel out of that. Now the other one is this tunnel right here. And this tunnel, this top edge, should conform to the edge of the tube. And so this is a side channel. And let's open that up. And let's see this. Again, I'm going to change it to the front of the owning part. And I'm going to go to the plan points. And we go here. It's very small. I got to zoom in. I can see it. It's just my screen is doing funky things. There's the channel. And let me select a point and see if I can zoom in this way. There we go. I gotta click and drag. Okay. I think he broke this up into 2 pieces because I'm not seeing that part right there. So let me cancel out of that. Save your changes. No. Yeah. So he did break it up into 2 pieces. So let me take a look at this one. So he does have this one from the front of the awning part. And there's the plan points. Okay, so this time I am going to, what am I going to do? I might not be able to fix this one, but let's put a point right there. Come on, there's a point. Okay, see what it did right there? Look, there's my crazy screen reacting. Okay, so now I'm going to take that point and let's see what happens if I do this. How about, oh, I think I'm going to try it. Oops, I added another point. Undo last. I'm working with very tiny movements here. So I'm going to take this point here. Come on, grab that point and drag it down. I wonder if I could drag it all the way down. That's weird. It wants to follow. It's just this last point right here. Let's see if I delete that point. It's getting closer. It sees this point, which is oh, see what happened there when I deleted it. Didn't like that. Let me put a point back. They're just so close together that, come on. Oh, I'm in the delete point. I'm trying to delete a point. There we go. Yeah, this one here, I might not be able to fix the way he wants. That might be as close as I can get it, because these points are just like very, very small. Yeah. Yeah. That's probably about as good as I'm going to be able to get it. Yeah. Like I said, we tried to make RockSim so it did conform automatically to these boat tails. And now this is that one case where you don't want it to conform. Anyway, I don't think I can solve that one. That one right there. I fixed the other one though. Okay, so that was from Michael Davis. So hopefully that did good. We have John Papp. He sent me an email with a fin, and it's just a trapezoid fin. I couldn't tell you, John, what that fin's of. Let me see if I can just show this. See what that. There's the fin that John sent me. Yeah, I don't. That could be anything. It could be anything. Let's see what else is going on here. Anybody has questions? Todd Wolf is saying, for the Zephyr, he's talking about his son, he set the parachute release at 400 feet, which was a nail biter, but it did deploy successfully. And he's asking, is 400 feet too low? What would you recommend? Well, he's talking about the chute release. So for people who are unfamiliar with the chute release, I'm going to open up a web browser here so I can show you the chute release. As soon as it opens up, there we go. ApogeeRockets.com. Okay, so we go here and we type in chute release. And here's the chute release. And what the chute release does, as soon as this comes up, is it constrains the parachute so it can't open until the rocket descends to a specific altitude. And so here's a bigger picture of it, so you can see what it looks like. And so this red string, the red string is to attach it to your rocket. You wrap this rubber band, and it's a really short rubber band, and it goes around your parachute, and this little pin right here goes inside of the little hole right here. And then at the altitude, it releases that pin and the rubber band unfurls. So this rubber band was wrapped around the parachute, and it's really tight, and that's what keeps it from opening. You can daisy chain them together. That's what you get. I'm looking, there's the little pin. I'm looking for a picture of one wrapped around a parachute. Okay, so there is a picture of a chute release wrapped around a parachute. And you can see, you know, it goes around the parachute and then it's released. And so what he did was he set it to release at 400 feet and it barely opened. And there could be two causes that might have been the reason why that it just barely opened in time. One was maybe the chute release didn't detect the right altitude. I kind of doubt that because modern electronics are really good. And the other is how you wrap your parachute and how it's wrapped up into the chute release. So imagine that, you know, it's in the parachute is wrapped up by that rubber band, and then the pin releases, but the rubber band is kind of caught in the folds of the parachute. And so it takes a while for it to pop open. That's what I think happened, is that it was just the way that the parachute was wrapped. So the next time you do it, it's probably going to work okay. Particularly if you know this and you pay closer attention to how it's wrapped up. You don't want to keep that rubber band out of any folds of the parachute so that it can there's nothing that prevents it from just flying open and releasing the parachute. And then the parachute itself, there's different ways of folding your parachute, and you can fold your parachute so that it opens fast or opens slow. Using the chute release, I would probably lean towards opening slow, which means wrapping the shroud lines, the suspension lines, around the outside. And the reason I say this is if you have it so it opens fast, the lines are tucked inside. I did a video in one of my and I couldn't tell you which video it is because it was a rocket kit build. But if you go to advanced construction videos and you go to all videos, and let me do a find on this page. So I'm looking something specifically on this page of all of our videos, and we've got close to 400 videos here on this page now. And if I do a find, I do parachute, if I can spell, prep. It could be any of these videos, but I thought it was parachute folding. No. Maybe I need to do a video specifically on this topic. But there's two ways. It could be this one. No, that's really old. It wasn't that old. These are like in 2011. So that's more than 10 years ago. But if you wrap the shroud lines around the parachute, that it takes time for the parachute to unravel. And if you want it to open quickly, you put the parachute lines inside the fabric so that they're not wrapped around. But the problem with putting them inside is that they're really loose in there. And if you got it wrapped up with a Jolly Logic chute release, there's a possibility that those shroud lines could get out and unfurl before the rubber band releases. And now you got a Jolly Logic swinging around, and you got lines swinging around, and when you got moving parts like that, they are going to hook up like Velcro, and then your chute release is going to get tangled, and then your parachute is not going to unfurl properly, and that's a bigger problem. So I would tend towards wrapping them around the outside so that you're sure that it's an organized and proper unfurling of the parachute. That's a really good question, though. Um, Terry Wheelock says, you changed the order. This was the problem I was having the opposite way. Put the file and I will solve it. Put it the file. Terry wants the file from Michael. I will put that on our website just for you, Terry. If you go to our website, this is where you'll find it. So you go to How-To and Guides, come down here to Software, and this is, if you're interested in RockSim, here's the RockSim software where you can download a free trial. You can purchase RockSim 10. You can see the frequently asked questions. But over here is the RockSim Live training. And if you click on that, this is our archives. And Terry, when I put up episode number 145, which is today, November 17, I will put the file in there for you, and for anybody else that wants it, so you can play with Michael's file. I've got to say that Michael did a really good job on this file. I love it. I can tell it's a good job because the parts are colored. And if I look at the names of the items, I can see that everything has a real name. And you don't have to guess, fin, fin, fin. No, this is the forward fin, and this is the lower fin, and this is the side channel. And then, but he didn't label that one, so he's got an A- on the grading on this. But I'd give him an A but instead of 100 points, you get 99. Good job, Michael. I loved it. Carlos K says, can RockSim simulate a hatch opening during flight events? I can play with a hatch as a moving mass object on the body tube, but are there other tricks? The answer is no. And this is something that I've been thinking about for a long time, is how to have flight events other than the normal ones. So if you go to Rocket Prep, which is this right here, is where you're going to load the engines. So you could choose an engine, it doesn't matter, I'll just choose that one. Then you go to flight events, and these are the events, and there's only a couple of events that can occur. One is parachute release, the other is streamer release, and the third one is staging. And that's all we have to work with. I would like additional flight events, but I'm trying to figure out how to make it work. I got an idea, but it's going to take some time, and my programmers are going to hate me for it. Yeah, we come up with a lot of cool stuff in RockSim. There's a lot of cool stuff in here, but one of them is not a flight event where I can open a hatch. And I think I talked about this in one of the previous RockSim lives when we were talking about deploying fins. And this is basically would be like deploying a fin, because the only way to do a hatch is to make it into a fin. Where did we talk about that? It wasn't that long ago. I'm sure it was just like it seems to me like it was just 2 weeks ago, but it must have been longer than that. Oh, where did we? I swear we talked about it. Maybe it was in one of our newsletters. Peak of Flight newsletter. Oh, there it is. Number 611. In this one, we talked about flip out fins, which is basically the same thing. We're going to flip the fins out. And right now, the only way to do it, see, like here on this rocket, it was a 3-stage rocket. And these fins are supposed to be on the inside because they're supposed to flip out at different times in the flight. But that changes the configuration of the rocket radically. The way to do this is you have to run 3 different designs. You have to run a design with just all the rocket with all the fins internal. Then you got to do another stage with fins out, and then the final one with the upper stage fin. So this was a 3-stage rocket, and you have to design it so that, and you got to use the launch visualizer for this. I'm just trying to, where's my minus sign? You have to start, the launch visualizer can start the rocket with the rocket have a certain velocity and an angle and an orientation. A compass orientation and a launch angle orientation, and it has a velocity. So when the first stage burns out, that's when you want to start the simulation for the second stage. So you grab the end results from the first stage, and those become the inputs for the start of the second stage. And then you do that again for the third stage. And I thought I did that simulation here in RockSim Live. I swear I did. So this was, what was the date? October 24th. So if I go back to the Apogee website, so if I go into October, maybe I didn't talk about it. It would have been either the 27th or the 20th. Nope, I didn't do it. Maybe that's a good topic for the future. So I need to do a video on how to pack a parachute, and a video on flip out fins. So basically, Carlos, if you wanted to do it, you'd have to do it like I did it in that newsletter, where you have to run the simulation twice. The first time is with the hatch closed, and then the second time with the hatch open. And when the hatches are open, you put in the inputs, like you have to put in an initial speed, an initial launch angle, and an initial azimuth angle, which is a compass direction. And then run the simulation from there, and it will pick up, and conclude the flight. That's a good question, though. Todd says that he says it's a great explanation on the Jolly Logic and the folding. He didn't know that. Thanks. You're welcome. And the good news is that he only had to walk about 50 feet to recover the rocket. So that's cool. That's not very much at all. Mark Sell says, if you do a video on the chute release and packing, I will share it with all, because he always does it wrong. He says, rest in peace, SA-14 Archer. The SA-14 Archer, for those of you that don't know, is a rocket kit. SA-14, and it's a kit from North Coast Rocketry, and this is what it looks like. And apparently his crashed. Oh, I'm so sorry. All right. No other questions? No other questions so far? I'm just backing up here through the chats to see if I missed anything. Okay. Let me take a sip of water. We still got 15 minutes. We can still get your questions in. Okay, let me close that. I'm waiting for your questions. What can we talk about while we're waiting for another question? I saw this morning that that other program out there has copied a lot more features from RockSim. They're still stealing. I'm going to give them some publicity. I just want to show you that, this is all the features that they're stealing. Here's their major update. 3D printing support. You can now print parts. We've been doing that for over 10 years in RockSim. So they finally got around to stealing that feature. They're exporting CDX1 files so that you can run your simulations in somebody else's software, because apparently it might not be good enough to run it in OpenRocket. They have a dark mode. Oh, that's cool. I think that is just, basically determined by your operating system. But that's kind of cool. Ooh, they can export sim tables to a CSV file. Yeah, that's RockSim. We've been doing that since RockSim version 9 too, for a long time. Where you can run a simulation and then just let me run a quick simulation here, and I'll show you how you can do that in RockSim. We've been doing that forever. And launch. Yeah, you can just can right click on it, and you can export out the table, and it will export it out as a CSV file if you want it that way. See, it says table.csv. They're finally getting around to stealing that. They've got some Java problems that they fixed. Added cases of manufacturer substitution and motor configuration names. Okay, so now you have to do a little bit more programming in the software if you want to use that. That sounds fun. They added a plugged motor option. RockSim has had that a long time too. It's another one they stole. So if you go here, and you can go to ejection delay, and I'm waiting for it to, there it is, plugged right there, and my screen just jacked up again. That's because of the Macintosh issue with Sonoma. So they added that. They can have they can render and export photo studio images without a background. Yeah, we've been able to change our background. We don't have yes, we do. Do we? I think we do. Cancel. I forget all the features that we built into RockSim. We can change that background color if you want to export it out. Go here to File, Export. You can do the 3D image. Here's my background color. Oh, I can't change the color. I can change it to white. I can change it to black. I can't make it transparent. Okay, so they got that. That's got to be a big deal though to somebody. Added select components of the same color. I don't know what that would mean. Why would you want to select the components of the same color when you can only... Yeah, and then they fixed a whole bunch of bug fixes, which is good. Yeah. Yeah, so they keep stealing stuff from RockSim because they don't have the capability of coming up with their own features. And RockSim, the next version is coming out soon, and we're going to have some really cool features in it. Yeah, I think I talked about those last week. So there's some features in there that, yeah, they're going to probably steal those too. This is why Yeah. It's upsetting to me that they keep stealing the features. You know, instead of just recommending people go out and get RockSim, they'd rather steal from us. You know, and if yeah, it's just kind of worrisome to me. You know what kind of people there are in the world. You know, and they're rocketeers too, and that's the sad thing. Terry Wheelock says, "How do we make a spiral rocket in RockSim?" I've seen a spiral rocket. I think you could do it. It wouldn't be nice and smooth though. You'd have to do it with pods. A pod is anything strapped to the outside of the rocket besides fins and launch lugs. So if you put a nose cone on the outside of a rocket, that would be attached using a pod. And if you did a series of pods, theoretically you could wrap them in a circle like this and make a spiral rocket. That's a lot of work, but I think it could be done. The problem is each of those pods is going to be kind of truncated. So imagine a tube, and then the next tube is off to the side. So it's not a smooth joint between tubes. Yeah. But if you really wanted to do it, I've seen a spiral rocket. I've seen one with 3 tubes, and then they wrapped in a spiral like a barber pole, and it actually flew straight. And basically they had to make it that way. They took tubes, and then they cut tubes, and then they, you know, kind of tilted them. We can't tilt a tube in RockSim. That's the issue. Is the tubes have to be straight, parallel to the center line. They can't be crooked. Yeah, that would be cool. Carlos K says, I read the newsletter, but what worked me was instability during the fin movements. I'm not sure what he means by instability between fin movements. Andrew Crows says, I am restarting my university's rocketry club. What are some resources you recommend? The National Association of Rocketry has some really good resources, and it's nar.org, and they have stuff about starting a rocket club. So local clubs, let's see, where would you find it? Private sections, national meets, section activities, guidance on how to organize and run a section. So I would start right there. Let's see what that says. Yeah, here we go. Section guidebook. Starting a new section, management, publicity, communications, launch sites, launch equipment. Yeah, this is where I would start. And then once you get going, we have some resources on our website, but I would start there first because this is really good stuff. On our website, apogeerockets.com. Let's see, club. If I type in club, what comes up? Hit return. Sometimes we can show so much information. Okay, here we go. There's a free it's a report called Attracting and Retaining New Club Members. You started a club, now what? How do you advertise to get new members and raise money? How do you get your members to show up? It's always important. I wrote that probably 20 years ago. It's still good information though. My stuff lasts. How to pack a competition parachute. This is how to pack it so it opens fast. That's in rocketry video number 249. Yeah, this is kind of like how I learned. This is good stuff right there. And then Terry says, Andrew, have the club get RockSim. That's a good idea too. What worried me is what Carlos says, is what worried me is about during the fin movements. I still don't quite understand what Carlos was getting at there. Okay, so we're getting close to the top of the hour here. So I have no more questions. So I think we're going to probably call it a day. So again, get your Christmas ornament. These are free. So when you place an order on the Apogee website, use the coupon code Holiday 2023, and that will get you one of these for free. But it only lasts until December 1st of 2023. So between now and December 1st. So that gives you less than 2 weeks maybe to get one. Yeah, those are cool. Yeah. Anything else before we go? I think that's about it. So we will be back next week. Again, next week, Friday. Martin, he is going to run the show, and he is going to talk specifically about altimeters. He wants to make it into more of an educational talk. But he probably will have RockSim running. So you can always ask your RockSim questions in there. And it will be Black Friday. And everybody always asks, Tim, is there any Apogee Black Friday sales? And the answer is, we do our sales all year long. Because our policy is to give great prices every day of the year, 365 days a year, so that you don't have to wait around till Christmas to get what you need, so you can get it when you're ready. We find that people that wait around for sales, they tend to wait, and they're just basically buying the same item, but they're deferring it. And we don't want people to be held back. So we have great prices all year round. You don't have to wait till a Black Friday. But we will be here. And the other thing about our Black Friday is, our phones will be answered. We always guarantee that when you call Apogee, a real person talks. So you can ask them your questions, which you're not going to get from other vendors. People don't call up those other vendors asking the kind of questions that you ask, the hard questions. And that's a perk that only we have. But we don't just do it on Black Friday. We do it all year round. Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. in the morning until about 5 o'clock. And we technically close our doors at 4:30, but there's people in the building that will answer the phone. But sometimes. I hope they do anyway. Okay, so don't wait around for Black Friday. You can order anytime you want. Get your free Christmas ornament. Use the holiday coupon code, Holiday 2023, to get it when you place an order. They're very cool. And happy Thanksgiving. And Marcel says happy Thanksgiving. And thank you. We're going to launch tomorrow. And I think the weather is going to be pretty good. And Mark says next week we're flying a turkey rocket and maybe a tater masher. Very cool. All right. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go out and launch something.